All right, here we go. Hi, hello, get set right now for another rampage through the vaults of time over the next 120 minutes when once again we'll be checking out two vintage countdowns from the past, randomly chosen by our studio computer. Now, a little later on, Shaun Tilley will be here with chart highlights from June of 1990. But before we let him out of his cage, hey, it's me, Benny Brown, back in town with memories of September 1983. This was the month and the year when British politics was grabbing all the headlines. John Selwyn Gummer succeeded shamed MP Cecil Parkinson as chairman of the Conservative Party. Ian McGregor took over as chairman of the National Coal Board, and Arthur Scargill went on his anti-solidarity march in Blackpool. During this hour, we'll play you each of the 4 new entries on this particular survey, as well as the usual mixture of climbers and sliders. Talking of which, here's Depeche Mode, who are on their way down with Everything Counts in large amounts. 20. Dave Gahan, Martin Gore, Andy Fletcher, and Alan Wilder. Together, Depeche Mode. And after peaking at number 6, the guys were spending their final week on the chart with Everything Counts, down at number 20. It's September of 1983 on the UK Top 20 Rewind. I'm Benny Brown. Here comes Annabelle Lamb with her version of the Doors classic, Riders on the Storm.
UK Top 20 Rewind. New entry, 19.
Much hailed by the critics, but Annabelle Lamb failed to live up to that promise, and Riders on the Storm was to be her one and only UK chart hit, a new entry at number 19 in September of 1983. Spandau Ballet were moving down to 17 with Gold, while part American, part Jamaican group Moniaka were slamming straight in at number 16 with Go De Yaka. And you'll hear it after the Moody Blues, who were also freshened with this track called Blue World.
UK Top 20 Rewind. New entry, 18.
A new entry at number 16, Go De Yaka, which meant go to the top. Wishful thinking on their part, as it only climbed 2 places higher. Moniaka with their only British hit. It's the UK Top 20 Rewind. Don't forget, Shaun Tilley's coming in here for the next hour, remembering the way it was back in June 1990. But before all of that stuff, hi, hello, it's Benny Brown back in town with memories of September 1983. George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley's former top 5 single, Club Tropicana, was sliding to 15. So we invite you to get yourself in position to hear Wham in just a few minutes' time.
Classic hits on the UK Top 20 Rewind.
It's Wham with their 4th of 11 consecutive UK Top 20 hits between 82 and 86. Club Tropicana, which, after getting to number 4, was down to 15 in September of 1983. Elton John was also spending his final week on the survey with I'm Still Standing. Sit down at number 13, and we'll line that one up for you after a former chart topper from KC and his Miami Sunshine Band, a huge disco smash throughout a memorable summer that year. Here's Give It Up.
14.
Taken from that Too Low for Zero trip, it's I'm Still Standing from Elton Hercules John, down to number 13 in September of 1983. This hour's featured countdown on the UK Top 20 Rewind with me, Benny Brown. Rod Stewart also had a successful album at this time called Body Wishes, and this next song was the second top 3 single to be lifted from it. Here comes What Am I Gonna Do?
12.
Kajagoogoo had just had a fallout with their lead vocalist Lamal, but that didn't stop guitarist Nick Beggs having a bash at the singing, and the result was another top 10 single, The Big Apple, which we have as a climber at number 8 on this hour's featured survey. Peebo Bryson and Roberta Flack were sliding to number 7 with Tonight I Celebrate My Love for You, all that romantic stuff, while one-hit wonder Ryan Paris had the week's biggest mover up 11 spots spots to number 6. It's Dolce Vita, and we'll get around to that after we check in with the Tilley kid and find out what's lined up in the next hour. What you got, Shaun? Bring it on, brother.
Benny, it is so good to hear you back on the air, man. Next hour, we're remembering June 1990, and we'll encounter the likes of Kylie Minogue, Betty Boo, Maxi Priest, Wilson Phillips, and World Cup fever was gripping the UK. The number 1 record, as a result, well and truly reflected that. Don't miss it. Next hour, June 1990. Back to you, man.
UK Top 20 Rewind. High Climber 6.
We are walking like in a Dolce Vita.
UB40 with that old Neil Diamond tune, Red, Red Wine, which was down to number 2 on this hour's randomly chosen countdown. And that's it for me, Benny Brown. Stand by for Shaun Tilley, who's here in a moment with more memories from June of 1990. I'd like to also remind you that Paul Burnett makes his long-awaited return to the UK Top 20 Rewind next week. Until then, I'll leave you with the best-selling song from our September 1983 survey, which incidentally went on to become the year's most successful single. It's Boy George, Culture Club with Karma Chameleon.
Hello there, and many thanks to my old buddy Benny Brown for bringing us that terrific chart from September 1983. And if you're ready, it's June 1990 now with Shaun Tilley. This was the month and year when Warren Beatty's film version of Dick Tracy opened in Los Angeles. Elton John announced that the royalties from all his future UK singles would go to AIDS charities. And in football, England were beaten by West Germany in that heartbreaking semi-final World Cup encounter after the match was decided on penalties. And there's more about the World Cup later. As always, during this hour, we'll play you each of the 3 new entries, as well as a cocktail of climbers, non-movers and sliders. In fact, we start with one of those right now from Jane Child, who was on the way down with this single called Don't Want to Fall in Love at
20.
Charging up a whopping 9 places to number 2. On his way to number 1, it's Elton John and Sacrifice. And that's going to do it for yet another edition of the UK Top 20 Rewind. This is Shaun Tilley on behalf of my co-host, who this week was Benny Brown. Thank you very much for listening. And Paul Burnett returns to host the show with me next week. Looking forward to that. In the meantime, we're going to leave you with the biggest and best-selling record of all from June 1990. And it's that World Cup connection again. And I have to say, if this isn't one of the best World Cup stroke football songs ever, I don't know what is. The collaboration of England and New Order, reigning supreme yet again on top of the chart in June 1990 with World in Motion. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.